It was a beautiful August afternoon. My yearly mammogram was scheduled for 1 o'clock. As usual, I planned to get the test over with and go on to run my errands. But on that day, everything changed. The radiologist immediately spotted a problem, and that is when the roller coaster ride started speeding downhill and my world started spinning out of control. My voyage through the breast cancer maze had begun. In quick succession, I went in for more mammograms, MRIs, ultrasounds, and biopsies. They all pointed in the exact same direction. This was definitely not the direction that my husband and I had planned to go this fall. We were excitedly planning a wonderful camping trip with our travel trailer. We were getting our camera gear ready to pack up and aim at new horizons. You see, one of our passions in life is wildlife and nature photography and video production. We have photographed our way throughout the western United States and Canada. We love watching and photographing the natural world around us and inspiring others to care. One of my inspirations to get through the breast cancer maze was to do everything in my power to be able to get back to doing what I love, and that is photographing all things natural. Please relax and enjoy some of my photos as I briefly explain my reasons for putting together this slideshow. My hope is that my experience will help you and any other newly diagnosed breast cancer patients find their way through the breast cancer maze. With the news of my breast cancer, we have to cancel our planned travels. On to Plan B. Fight the cancer. After all, isn't life about how you handle Plan B? Had I been given the choice, I would have chosen the Mickey Mouse Club over the Cancer Club. But since I was unwillingly inducted into the Cancer Club, I made the decision to try to make the best of it. I couldn't make the trip to Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks, so a new idea crossed my mind. I realized that I just couldn't put my camera down. Something about working behind the lens just makes me happy. So, I decided to photograph my way through the breast cancer maze. I tried to document the process in order to help you, and I knew it would help me too. At the entrance to the maze, there can be a great deal of fear. Of course, the number one fear is the fear for your life, but also there is just so much uncertainty and lack of control of what the future holds. We can't help but to have thoughts of suffering and possible death. Will the therapy be worse than the disease? I have no control over the cancer. What will I do next? What lies ahead for me? We enter the breast cancer maze full of fear of the unknown. How can I exit the maze full of hope? If you will allow me to show you the pathway that I followed to find my way to the other end of the maze, perhaps it will ease your passage through the maze and into the sunshine at the other end. Let's go together from the fear at the entrance to the hope at the exit. Just as everyone's life is unique, so is their cancer experience. This is just my own personal story. I am not a medical professional, and I am not here to give you any medical advice. I am just a woman that has gone through the process and found hope and happiness beyond all expectations. Please allow me to show you one way to get there. When I was first told that I did indeed have breast cancer, along with the fear, for some reason, I also felt some excitement. Please let me finish before you decide that I'm just plain nuts. I just felt that once I made it through the cancer, and I always thought I would, something special would emerge from the experience. The cancer would be gone and something new and magical would show itself. Okay, let's get back to the part about me being just plain nuts. I guess that is a real possibility, but I don't think I am. Of course, do nutty people think they're one of them? I doubt it. Getting back to the excitement that I felt at the start of this journey is very hard to explain. It's just that I have always tried to figure out, even in my own small way, something that I could do to help others. My hope at the start of this journey was that when I emerge from the maze, I will know what that might be. That was part of the driving force that got me through the tough times. Please, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. The cancer is scary. I realized it could kill me, or at the very least make life difficult. But one thing that the cancer can't take from you is your freedom to choose your own attitude. I decided my attitude would be positive. I made the decision to have an attitude of gratitude. I would be thankful each day for just that day. I would be thankful for my wonderful family and friends and all the support that I received. I tried to open myself to expect good things to happen. This is easier to say than to do. Above all, don't feel guilty if you can't feel the gratitude when you are going through hard times. It's just something to work on if you want to make that decision. Practice looking for what's right and good instead of what's wrong and bad. Some days are just too difficult to feel the gratitude. Don't worry, don't feel guilty, just let it go until another day. Many people look back on their cancer as a gift. Personally, I would prefer a new pair of shoes, but I understand the sentiment. Any life-threatening incident can be a wake-up call to live with more gratitude for all we have in our lives. I'm not saying that we deny the suffering, just that we don't let it overshadow our whole life. You can't hide from the facts. You may feel like it, but you must face it out in the open. Shake off the pessimism. Jump in. And confront it head on. You are now in the breast cancer maze. You have now been diagnosed. At first, my own mind tried to protect me. My first reaction was, oh no, there must be some mistake. This cannot be true. This wasn't supposed to happen to me. But it did finally sink in. I was in the breast cancer maze, and I didn't have a clue how to make my way through it. How would I find my way into the happy, healthy light at the other end of the maze? I didn't know what I was getting into or how to handle everything I would have to face. My purpose today is to give you a few hints as to what you may find along the way. I hope it helps to light the way for you. Of course, everybody's cancer is different. Some will be worse than mine, some will be less serious than mine. I can only relate to you the story of my own travels. First and foremost, believe it or not, the whole journey was not as bad as I had feared it would be. Your physician has probably already sent you to the radiology center for testing. The first test has probably been the mammogram. If the radiologist sees any possible abnormal areas in your breast, he may ask you to undergo some other tests. Ultrasound will more than likely be test number 2. It is a painless exam that uses sound waves and their echoes to create images of your tissue. This can help in early detection and treatment planning. The ultrasound machine may also be used to assist the doctor in doing a biopsy. This is an important diagnostic test where a small sample of your tissue is removed for examination under a microscope to see if it is cancerous. The biopsy may be done under local or general anesthetic, depending on the location and size of the suspected tumor. A CT, or CAT scan, is sometimes used to show three-dimensional or cross-sectioned images of the suspected tumor. You lie on the table, and it moves you through the donut hole as it takes the pictures. It is painless, although sometimes the dye is injected into your veins so the tissue shows up more clearly. An MRI scan may also be used to create very precise pictures of your tissues. A powerful magnet is used to transmit radio waves through your body. This test is also painless, but you must have all metal objects off your body because of the strong magnet in this machine. Other tests may also be used depending on your individual case. Your appointment with your surgeon will really start you on your way through the maze. When cancer is found and surgery is needed, your surgeon will probably discuss whether you need a lumpectomy or a mastectomy. With a lumpectomy, they remove the cancer but leave most of the breast. With a mastectomy, they remove the whole breast. My surgeon told me that I did indeed need a mastectomy, and she explained all my options. There is no way to accept that one easily. You really do have to go home and let it sink in. I was fortunate to have my loving and supportive husband by my side. We went home and discussed the options in order to make the decisions we had to make. This is when you should decide if reconstruction is right for you or not. Reconstruction is a choice. It can surgically build you back to look similar to what you looked like before the mastectomy or lumpectomy. Your surgeon will want to know what you want to do before the surgery takes place. This is a pretty scary time. You will have a lot to think about. I knew it would be far better to lose my breast than to lose my life, but that doesn't make it easy. I cried over my loss. I was scared about my future. It felt to me like I was grieving over the loss of part of my femininity. So many questions went through my mind. How would my husband feel about it in the future? Would I still be appealing? Above all, will I even survive? We can't help our thoughts and fears. My suggestion is to talk about it. Be reassured. Ask questions and get answers. Try to be positive and strong. Make that decision. I wanted to live, and I knew what I had to do. It was up to me to do everything in my power to get through this and come out of the maze healthy and strong and happy. That is what I did. When we have to go through this, we may feel as though we have lost control over our own lives. But we are the only ones that control our own thoughts and attitudes. I made the conscious decision to work at keeping a positive attitude. That was one thing that was in my control. You are done with the mammogram, you're done with the ultrasound, you're done with the biopsy, you have your diagnosis. You have made your decision on whether or not to have the breast reconstruction done. Now you and your surgeon must set a date to do the surgery. This all gets way too real, way too fast. You will get all your instructions at the surgeon's office. Now you can go home and try to get your life in order in preparation for your day of surgery. You arrive at the hospital and they get you ready for surgery. You will be asked all the usual questions: name, date of birth, allergies, and on and on and on. It all goes into the computer. At least it keeps your mind busy. Sort of. My daughter took this photograph of this picture that was hanging just outside my hospital room. Yellowstone happens to be one of my favorite places in the world. We took that as a good omen. My surgeons came into my room and explained what was going to happen. I was kept abreast of everything. No pun intended. Well, okay, pun intended. Here I have to explain that most people don't go in for a mastectomy after having lost their hair. In my case, these photos are from my second mastectomy. I had already had my single mastectomy, and the pathology report came back showing a marker that indicated that I would very likely have a cancer show up in my second breast. My doctors felt that it was more important to let the chemotherapy do its job right away after the first mastectomy. When I felt strong enough after I was finished with the chemo, I would go in for a second mastectomy. That is what I did. That is why these photos show me without my hair. Quickly facing the second surgery turned out to be a very good decision. The pathology from that surgery did indeed show that a cancer was just beginning in that breast too. I'll explain more about the chemotherapy and the hair loss in a few minutes. When the surgery room and the doctors were ready, I said my goodbyes to my family and I was wheeled away. Once you are sedated, you have the easy part of the day. Your loved ones have to nervously wait while you're in surgery. When the surgery is over, you will be taken into the recovery room while you wake up from the sedation. When you are sufficiently awake, you will be taken to your hospital room. When I woke up, I was surprised to find that the pain from the actual surgery was not too bad. I thought it would be much worse. Of course, pain medication is available. Don't be afraid to ask for it if you need it. Hospitals have comfortable places for your loved ones to wait and to get something to eat. Some hospitals even have accommodations for your family to spend the night with you in your room. After a couple of days, when you and your doctor agree that you are ready to go home, you will be signed out. The nurses will give you all the instructions that you will need to take care of yourself at home. They will give you some phone numbers to call to get any help or advice that you may need once you are home. Now it's time for you to rest and recuperate. Allow the people that care about you to help. Allow yourself time to rest and get strong. Try to eat a healthy diet to keep your immune system strong. One thing I did find was that when my mastectomy incision started to heal, it was extremely sensitive. Even a lightweight nightgown touching it was almost too much to bear. It didn't really hurt. The nerves just were too highly sensitive to the slightest touch. However, I found that if I wrapped a large bandage slightly snugly around my chest, it really helped. Somehow, that seemed to settle those nerves down and I could get dressed and go about my day. That went on for a couple of weeks before the nerves settled back to normal. When I started to gain back a bit of my strength and energy, I decided to start hiking the old circular trail through the kitchen and living room. Disobeying my own rules of healthy eating, I sometimes rewarded myself with a dish of coffee ice cream when I finished my hike through the kitchen. I can't resist coffee ice cream. Your surgeon will set a date for you to come in for a checkup. At that time, she may also discuss sending you to a medical oncologist to see if you should undergo chemotherapy treatments. During your surgery, samples of your cancer may be sent into a lab for testing. A lymph node from near your armpit will probably be surgically removed and tested too. This is referred to as the sentinel node. It will let the surgeon know if the cancer has spread. The sentinel node is the first node in the drainage system to entrap cancer cells. If the sentinel node is found to be free of cancer, then the likelihood of other nodes being full of cancer goes down tremendously. These results, along with others, will help the oncologist decide what the best treatment for you will be. Not everybody has to go through chemo. I did. My oncologist told me that most people are so scared of chemotherapy because of the stories from the past that we have all heard. He told me that with the newer drugs and therapies, it won't be that bad, and he was sure I would do well. You know what? He was right. Yes, I lost my hair. Yes, the chemo made me tired and a little nauseous for a few days after each treatment, but much to my surprise, it really wasn't that bad. One thing that you will be subjected to often is blood testing to see how you are doing. I opted to have a Metaport surgically implanted under the skin high on my chest. It was an outpatient procedure. It is, however, surgery, and you can expect to go home and rest. I needed a few days, but the port was very helpful. Whenever I went in for a blood test or for a chemo treatment, the nurse didn't have to stick a needle in my vein. The needle went painlessly into the port instead. When all of my treatments were done, the surgeon took the port out. I was glad I had it. The blood tests come often. The port is also strategically placed near your heart, so the chemo medications are quickly pumped and spread throughout your body. The port is about the size of a quarter, and it has a catheter that is implanted in a vein during the surgery. It does leave a bump on your chest until it is removed. Once you heal after it is implanted, you can bathe or swim without worry. There is even some cream you can get from your doctor to deaden the skin before an infusion or a blood test, so it is really painless. There are many different recipes for the chemo. Your oncologist will explain the different medicines and what he thinks will be the best for you. He will talk to you about the side effects and what you can expect. In my case, it wasn't as bad as I had feared. I went to my local hospital's infusion center for my chemotherapy treatments. There were several rooms, each with several recliner chairs. You'll probably spend several hours there at each session. I was there for about 5 hours each time. Once every 3 weeks, I went in for my chemo infusion for a total of 4 treatments. However, everybody's treatment schedule is different, depending on what your oncologist decides would be the best for you. You can relax while the medication slowly drips into your bloodstream, either directly into a vein or with the help of the port. The oncology nurses seem to be particularly friendly and wonderful people. They really do try to make the situation as comfortable as possible. They even bring you a nice lunch. Most of the patients that I spoke to said that they missed the close bonds formed with the nurses while going through chemo and radiation. I actually met some great people while I was there. You will have a common thread with all of the patients as you each spend time there, while you wait for the continuous drip of fluids to finish. It doesn't hurt. I didn't notice anything at all while I was receiving my treatments. The chemo can also affect your white blood cells. You will be tested. There are medications to boost your white blood cells. It is important to keep the white blood cell count up to help your immune system fight off any infections. That can be critical at this time. Do all you can to protect yourself from germs. After each chemotherapy treatment, you will probably notice some side effects. I had a slight bit of nausea for a few days after each treatment, and it did make me very tired for about a week after each treatment. There are medications that your doctor will talk to you about that can alleviate many of the symptoms. While at one of my chemo sessions, I mentioned that I needed some hats. One of the nurses brought out 3 big bags of hats that were donated by some caring locals and also a group of people in Newport Beach, California, known as Knots of Love. I tried on several. No, that's not me. I did take a couple home. It was almost Christmas, and I promised the nurses that I would wear the Santa hat for my next chemo treatment, which I did. My daughter went with me to one of my chemo sessions. As we tried to take this picture of ourselves, we kept messing it up and laughing. After a few tries, we really got the giggles. We hoped we weren't disturbing anybody in the next room. I'm not sure how common uncontrolled laughter is in the chemo infusion area of the hospital. Well, as they say, laughter is good medicine. I think the one side effect that everybody dreads is the loss of their hair. This is a picture of me with my daughter Jody taken after my mastectomy, but before chemotherapy. Cancer is characterized by the abnormal growth of cells. The chemo is designed to kill these fast-growing cells in your body. Hair is also characterized by the fast growth of cells. So the chemo also kills hair cells. So keep in mind that if your hair falls out, it is because the chemotherapy is working. About 2 weeks after my first chemotherapy treatment, that's what happened. For a couple of days, I noticed just a few hairs falling out. Each day, there was a few more. Then, I really started to shed. By the end of that week, when I showered and washed my hair, I had to clean clumps of hair off the shower drain 3 times. I decided it would be best to just shave it all off. My daughter and granddaughter came over and we had a head shaving party. It was pretty scary, but we tried to make the best of it and have fun with it. Oh my gosh, I look like my father! Brace yourself. It is pretty shocking to see yourself without hair for the first time. It does take some getting used to. But keep in mind that hair care, or should I say head care, is quick and easy, and your hair will grow back. It took about 6 months after my last chemo treatment to feel like I had a bit of a hairdo again. And when you have no hair, as opposed to others, there are no bad hair days. Most towns around the country have some sort of community help for breast cancer patients. My area has a wonderful cancer resource center. They have supplies such as hats, scarves, mastectomy bras, and wigs, all at no cost. The Cancer Resource Center also has an excellent supply of books to check out and so much more. When you understand what lies ahead, and know that help is available and that you are not alone, you can cope better with your circumstances. When you feel like you need help to cope, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. Your medical team will be there for you. You can also speak with a breast cancer navigator for so much valuable help and information and support. Your doctors or hospital can direct you to the right people. The Cancer Resource Center has programs such as the Look Good, Feel Better program, sponsored by the American Cancer Association and many cosmetic companies. It is designed to help you learn about such things as makeup, wigs, and headwear during hair loss. I found it to be totally fun and informative. As the name implies, it is to help you look good so you feel better. I also met some great people that were going through the same process that I was. At home, after my head shaving party, we went on to doing my makeup and trying on my wig and hats. Again, my granddaughter was included in the process. Lexi watched her mom do my makeup, then she left the room for a little while. When she came back, she had this artwork for us. It now proudly hangs in my home. I love it. Stage 1 chemo, I had hair. Stage 2, I had half a head of hair. Stage 3, I had no hair. And stage 4, I wore a hat. What I really love is that I have a smile on the whole time. Here I am with my new wig and makeup. I've never been a hat person before, but with no hair on my head, I decided this was hat time. I actually got used to it. In case you're wondering if you also lose the hair on the other parts of your body, the answer is yes, you will. Another idea that helped us get through the breast cancer maze was the bracelet game. You can include your closest friends and family. I found some inexpensive bracelets for everybody. Each person gets one bracelet for every chemo treatment that you are scheduled for. In my case, that was 4 bracelets per person. My treatments were scheduled for once every 3 weeks for a total of 4 treatments. We each started out with 4 bracelets on our left arm. After each treatment, we moved a bracelet to the other arm, and it was time to celebrate. It was a happy day when all 4 bracelets were on our right arms. Even my close friend that lives 2,000 miles away could participate in our bracelet game. It helped us all get through the maze. When you are diagnosed with breast cancer, it affects all those that care about you. They have to get through the maze too. You may also be sent to see a radiation oncologist to see if he feels that the radiation may be another helpful step in your process of killing the cancer. Radiation uses high-energy rays aimed at a precise area to kill cancer cells, whereas the chemotherapy uses chemicals systemically to kill the cancer cells. The radiation oncologist will determine the precise dose and placement of the radiation that you receive. Side effects can include fatigue, swelling, and a sunburn-like feeling in the treated area. You will be constantly monitored for any side effects. Be sure to communicate any problems or concerns so they can be quickly addressed. Maintenance therapy may be given to help prevent the relapse. Hormone therapy may be prescribed for women with ER or PR positive cancers. These are cancers that grow more rapidly in response to estrogen or progesterone. This therapy can block this effect to help keep the cancer from coming back. It is different than hormone replacement therapy that is given to deal with the symptoms of menopause. You may also want to check into complementary and alternative treatments. These include such things as relaxation, meditation, and guided imagery techniques. Some people find that complementary therapies such as yoga and massage have a calming and helpful effect. Any approach to integrating your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs that are helpful to you will help you find your way through the maze. When you have completed your primary medical treatments, you still may feel like you are lost in the maze. It takes some time to find your new normal. It also takes some time to get your energy and stamina back. Your body may be changed in ways that take some time to get used to. Allow yourself the needed time. Just because your main treatments have ended, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden you are fine and back to normal again. It all takes time. Your need for emotional support doesn't all of a sudden end either. Be sure to get help if you need it. Anxiety and depression are common and can be treated. Not all cancer can be cured. Sometimes surviving means living with cancer. If you experience symptoms or a sense of hopelessness, be sure to get help. One of the best ways to impact the global movement to end breast cancer forever is to participate in the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. We can all work locally to better the lives of those facing breast cancer. This is a day of deep meaning to all those who have been touched by this disease. It's also a day of fun and camaraderie for everyone. through the generous support of talent, time, and resources, we all hope to find the cure. Participants come in all ages. And even species to lend their support. I had my own team to support not only me, but more importantly, we were all there to do whatever was in our power to fight to find the cure. As with any life-changing event, the most important thing is your family. I feel so fortunate to have had the love of my family supporting me through this whole breast cancer journey. Having them there every step of the way made it much easier for me. I wanted to do everything in my power to continue to be there for them. The support of family and wonderful friends kept my mood up and my positive thoughts flowing. If you don't have some people close to you for support, be sure to find a group that will be there for you. You are not alone. Know that you deserve to connect with others that you can lean on to get through the maze. Don't try to do it alone. You may find that there are others that need you just as much as you need them. Be sure to find the care and support that will boost your success and well-being. It's important. I'm still me. The cancer didn't define who I am. It did reinforce the strength of my spirit. It did make me even more thankful for all the people that I love and that love me. Physically, I may have lost part of myself, but emotionally, I have grown and become a stronger person. There is no one right way to go through breast cancer. There is only the way that is right for you. Do it your way. There are no rules or time frames. You have to feel what you feel, and it takes as long as it takes. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. We all have our downtimes. It's okay to cry and feel scared. It's only normal. This is a difficult time. It's a scary time. But you have to do what you have to do anyway. You can't have courage without fear. Going through breast cancer takes a major effort. Give yourself credit for handling it. Give your friends and family credit too. They all travel through the maze with you. But if you can somehow focus on the bright spot, focus on the positive and living out your dreams, you will find your own path that leads you out of the maze and into the light of the rest of your life. In order to feel better, sometimes you just have to change your perspective. This is a photo I shot of Lower Antelope Canyon near Page, Arizona. From the outside, there is nothing special to see. There is just this large crack in the sandstone. But if you change your perspective and climb down through that crack, everything changes. What a difference a change in your perspective can make. There is actually a positive side to having had the cancer experience. Almost all women who had breast cancer said that it had changed their lives for the better. They feel that they have been given a second chance to examine their priorities and live their lives with more meaning. We can't choose how or when we die, but we can choose how we live. I didn't consider cancer to be a gift. I do consider it to be a teacher, and that teacher is definitely a gift. I don't worry that I have gray hair. It means I'm still getting older. And those wrinkles on my face? Those are from years of smiling. I hope I have the opportunity to continue wrinkling. When I entered the breast cancer maze, I didn't know how to find my way through it. But I decided right away that I would do all that I possibly could to make something good come from the adversity. My father once told me that something good always came from the difficult parts of life. In every burden, there is the opportunity to flourish. I believed him then, and I still do. Realize that all the emotions that you feel throughout this cancer journey are normal. When you need to cry, do it. When you ask yourself, what did I do to make the conditions right for a cancer to grow? Don't even try to answer that. You didn't do it. It's not your fault. We all hope that we will soon know the cause and the cure. That will be the day we are all waiting for. My greatest hope now is that this slide program will help you. Remember at the beginning of this program I said that I might sound crazy? I felt some excitement for some reason. As it turned out, making this slideshow and discovering my own strength has been my excitement. Telling my story of making it through the breast cancer maze has helped me tremendously, but the greatest joy for me would be to know that it helped you. I hope that I have given you a bit of help, hope, and encouragement. When you first hear that you have breast cancer, you realize that moment will change your life forever. But if you can learn to make the most of every moment you have, then you will be not just a breast cancer survivor, you will be a breast cancer thriver. Please let me know if my story has helped you. I'd love to hear from you. That would make my day. You have my deepest wishes for a happy and healthy future. When you look back on this time, always remember what you have been through. I hope when you do, you will be able to say, I did it. I made it through the breast cancer maze.